Hello and welcome to Who Corner to Corner podcast. My name is Jeff and I'm joined as always by my good friend Paul.
Hello, that's me.
How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm okay actually. I'm rather shell shocked in
yes.
some respects. So.
Well, we've interrupted our regularly scheduled episode tonight because of the news from today.
The news! What is the news, Jeff? What news has landed? What news has suddenly broke upon yonder horizon that could cause us such disruption to our normal lives on a Sunday?
Well, the BBC just casually tossed out the news of the new Doctor today. I've been down in Brighton today, and the chat group that we're in was going off, and I had a look in it, and I had to scroll back up, and people were going, oh my god, etc. And I scrolled up, and I was like, there's the new Doctor.
It was a weird one, wasn't it? Because it suddenly came out on social media. I was just sitting here with a cup of tea, just taking a little break from work, just going idly on my phone, scrolled up, and I saw something from, I think it was Metro or something, saying 14th Doctor announced, or BBC announced the 14th Doctor or something like that. And I thought, oh, that's just bollocks. You know, you see these things and you think, especially from, like the Metro and the Daily Mail and what have you. I mean, casting no aspersions on any of those titles except to say that they're tabloid gutter trash. So, but that's just what they are. It's a true fact. So when these headlines, these clickbait headlines suddenly hit social media, you think, whatever, I'm not swallowing that one again. Many times have I fallen foul of clicking on a headline just like that and falling prey to the hit markers who just want you to do that. But I did it, and I thought, okay, there's an @BBC Doctor Who Twitter handle, but it'll be the fake account. They've fallen for the fake account.
We've all seen that one.
You idiots! It's so stupid. You gutter trash Daily Express, Metro, Daily Mail nonsense. And I clicked it, and I thought, no, that is actually the official BBC, and it's got like 50,000 likes on it, which is just mental. Oh my goodness! And so it was. It is true.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a bit of a habit of throwing stuff out, like the Russell T Davies announcement.
Just
a while ago, and I wonder if it's if they were going to get beaten to it by a paper or something.
You do one of these things, don't you? If it was going to be leaked, you want to be in control of that kind of storm.
Exactly, and they were obviously at BAFTA tonight, Russell and the Doctor that we'll come to in a minute, but that would obviously have been planned unless they just suddenly said, do you know what, let's go for it tonight. And then, so
because you can
came
use
out
the BAFTAs, can't you? Even if you thought, okay, well, let's not announce before the BAFTAs because you don't want to take anything away from that. On the other hand, you think, well, actually, if we're going to launch it now's a good time as any because we get all that publicity anyway. There's a bunch of camera crews already there. Everybody's hanging on the story from every celebrity who walks through the doors, and what better way to take charge of the whole event than to announce the 14th Doctor, not at the event, but to use it as to catapult it even further into the consciousness of the media succulites such as ourselves. I don't know if that's a
I think it was. It is now.
It is now.
Our new Doctor is Ncuti Gatwa.
Ncuti Gatwa. Yes, indeed.
So I'll be honest, I've not heard of him before. I haven't seen Sex Education. No. I hear it's very, very funny. He's very good in it. So I feel like I might need to check it out. But what were your thoughts on the reveal?
Well, apart from it catching me completely by surprise at a moment when I was least expecting it, one thing I've sort of disliked, and apologies to anybody, this is just my reaction, but what I really hated was when they paraded Peter Capaldi out in front of a baying audience of people hungry for this, with Zoe Ball and guests looking slightly awkward and everything. And I thought, this is probably about as low as the kind of showbiz glamour element of this show can get. I hope it's never like this again.
You say
and thankfully, it hasn't been so far. So actually, I kind of really like the kind of muted, slow kind of way, the steady drop of a very heavy weight into an already turbulent pond.
Yeah, because when Marvel announce casting, it's often just done similar to that, or they might be at Comic-Con and there'll be an event they'll bring out and
if there's
stuff
something
like that.
that
And
ties into it, you
it's high profile, but they're not putting on shows. Especially, you said Capaldi's reveal was kind of the the lowest.
I didn't like it at all.
Glitzy TV stuff. You've obviously forgotten about Doctor Who: The After Party.
Oh no! Well, I deleted that from my memory on purpose. Now you've just opened that box again. I've thrown away the key. That was again. I think that was. That was the 50th anniversary thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And again, everybody sort of looking awkward. You had a whole load of actors there who'd been in the show all through the years, and not one of them looked very comfortable in that at all, and I really felt for them.
It's just
it made me sweat. It made the heat rise up on the back of my neck looking at that.
Yeah, because you can feel the uncomfortableness of it.
Especially when the presenters in that are such dickheads who don't know the first thing about it.
They don't know it, yeah. But it's nice in a way that they've dropped it, like this, and it's just kind of come out, unexpectedly, and the hype and the anticipation and rumour about when it was going to happen.
Mental. It's been going mental, ain't it?
Oh, it's been getting to the point where it was like
Jeff is literally holding his head in his hands now. He really is. Well, do you know what? I put out what has since become a badly aged tweet. I do these things occasionally, but I must admit, in response to all this, we got to know who the Doctor is now. We got to know. We can't go any longer. The world will end if we don't know. The universe will collapse in on itself, and I'll be forced to eat breakfast and tie my shoelaces and everything, and that won't do. My mum will kill me. And it was like, I genuinely do, and I did when I tweeted this, wish that just for once we could have a year where we never find out who the new Doctor is until we see them in the fiction, until that moment of regeneration. So I just tweeted my thoughts, saying this, it wouldn't be great if that could happen. Who else would like to see it? And a few people, sort of said, yeah, it'd be great. Never going to happen. But, it's just a bit of fun. And then literally not even 24 hours later, the announcement's out. But.
See, it would be amazing, but I think I don't see how they could do it for Who, because
it's just too big, isn't it? And too public.
Yeah, it's that, but also it's a production schedule thing. So, obviously Jodie's done her regeneration. They'd have had to have cast the Doctor, some months ago to have then filmed after that, which obviously like they did with Matt, from David, and he was able to kind of turn up and do it and things like that, but. To keep it secret, particularly with the changeover on the show now, and the fact that if they've revealed the Doctor and then they're not actually going to film for some months, which I imagine is the case, or to start filming to have the Doctor revealed at the end of Jodie's episode, for example, you'd never be able to keep that secret for that long. Do you know what I mean? But whereas I'm thinking about with Marvel, for example, with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, there's a cameo at the end in the credits that was a total surprise, and nobody knew that person was appearing. But it's absolutely feasible that was only shot a couple of weeks ago.
And it was because slotted in
because that's how they work on things, and they've frankly got the resources to be able to do things that secretly and at that short notice, so yes, it would have been nice to not know who the Doctor is, but I just don't think it's workable for something that
I know
for a major part.
Let me have my fun.
Yes. So
everyone else
I'll
fun. I don't get any fun. I'm not.
Well, you get to do this.
Old
you get to
man.
Do this with me. You get to do
Old
this with me.
Old man can't have fun.
So I'll be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed that it wasn't a female Doctor again. I was looking forward to that because I just felt that it was a good direction to go in, and I've already seen a few people saying that Jodie was a failure and that's why they've gone back to a man, and I don't agree at all.
Do you know what I saw somebody tweet earlier, which just before you jumped online, actually, when I was waiting for you, I was just scouring the page of Twitter, and I saw somebody, I wish I could find it now actually, but somebody had tweeted a picture of the novelisation of Paul Cornell's Love and War, which was published in 1992. which was the year that Ncuti was born. Which is quite something, really. It makes me feel very, very old, because I was at uni. There it is. Oh, it's John Arnold, who is at _Arn. And he
hold on, let me look.
15th October 1992, the birth of two Doctor Who icons. He puts a picture up there of Ncuti Gatwa, and right next to it is a cover of Paul Cornell's Love and War. I mean, that's incredible, because that was obviously at the point when there was no Doctor Who on TV, when I would have been sat reading that book. And I remember it because I was at uni, and I read a lot of those New Adventures books, mostly dossing in and around the High Street and by the bank of the Thames and sitting in KFC and the student bar and everything else. And I remember that. I remember reading that one, because this might have been the end of Doctor Who as far as we knew. No more. And no more of it to be seen on telly forever. And yet, little did I know that the future Doctor was actually born upon that day. Amazing.
Who's tweeted this? I didn't
John
catch
Arnold at the _Arn.
Okay, hold on. At the _
To give credit where it's due.
Oh, I can't find it.
Thank you, John, for posting that. It's made me feel magnificent.
Brilliant. So yeah, I think it's very exciting, really.
It is. It's wonderful exciting. I love it. I mean, it means that the show's got a future, which we knew.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone going, oh yeah.
No, everyone's not moaning. Some people are moaning because they always will.
Right, some
Jeff.
people.
Come on,
but they wouldn't
minority.
be doing this.
It always is.
Now.
They're just a very loud minority.
Yeah.
But
they wouldn't be doing this now if the show was a failure. No, and Russell wouldn't be coming back just to save the show. Russell wouldn't come back just to save the show.
Not even that. Russell's coming back because he loves the show. He enjoys it. Do you know what? Actually, right? I was watching the interview with him and Ncuti outside the BAFTA awards thing when they're going in, and he's just so buoyant and so in love with what he does. And I kind of thought, do you know what? Actually, if anybody is going to come back and do Doctor Who, right, it has to be Russell.
Yeah.
Because it could the new showrunner could be a complete unknown and have a list of credits to their name that we think, well, that's not like Doctor Who and that's not like Doctor Who. In a way, a bit like, well, I mean, not even like Chris Chibnall, because obviously he'd done Doctor Who and he'd done Torchwood anyway.
Involved,
He'd done Broadchurch and had done a lot of kind of more contemporary type dramas rather than the sci-fi stuff. And maybe we would have had somebody who didn't even do any sci-fi at all, shock horror, regardless of how much they knew TV. So Russell is kind of like the best of all worlds in a way, because he understands TV, he understands how the machine works, and he is absolutely 100% a fan of Doctor Who.
Yeah. And do you know what? I don't. Sorry to interrupt.
You're not sorry at all.
The show, I'm not. If the show really was poison and failing, he wouldn't come back just because he loves it, because that would be what you'd call career suicide.
Absolutely.
He wouldn't do it. You wouldn't go, oh, I love that show so much, even though it will ruin my career, I'm going to go back to that. That wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't happen. And do you know what I mean? Him and Chips and Moffat, it all strikes me like they're all buddies. They're all mates. Yeah. They all kind of get on. They all mix in the same circles. Yeah. They all share a very similar outlook in life, and they're all fans of the show. They love playing in this toy box, and I just think we're privileged to have all of these people sort of creating this stuff for us. Because if it wasn't them, who would it be, and what could we end up with?
Well, that's a very good point. Yeah, what could we end up with? Yeah. So the other bit of news that I saw today that was. I think came from Russell, just again casually thrown out. Jodie's final episode is 90 minutes long.
Yes, I did
what you would
see
call
that.
feature length.
Actual feature
so that's very exciting. It is actual feature length, although I do think anything over 50 minutes is feature length. Some weird little.
Is that a dictionary definition, Jeff? Is it?
You'd be surprised at what actually something has to be classed as feature length. So yeah, that's very exciting. So I think any worries that anyone had about it being too packed with things.
I had seen these things. It's got this in it. It's got that in it. It's got that in it. Is there any room for the Doctor in there? And it's rubbish. The writing's rubbish. That sort of thing. You mean?
that's a polite way of putting it. Yeah.
I'm polite.
So the only thing I would, so that's very exciting.
Yes,
because
very
obviously
exciting.
Jodie's time is not.
We need a
at an
jingle
end
for
yet,
exciting news. So we need one. Write a list here. Right,
Yeah.
hot takes
Hot
and
take
exciting news.
and
we
exciting
need to
news.
do something out. We obviously need to raise our game in some way.
If anyone listening wants to conjure up some little jingles for us, please do.
To see.
Is that the new theme?
As long as it ends with a. Maybe not. That's.
Yes, what I would like to know is what's going to happen, because obviously there's rumours that Tennant was coming back and Catherine Tate and things, which obviously I'm assuming are not true. And there's all these rumours of specials, and you know, a special with Capaldi, a special with Smith, you know, maybe Jodie being back again, but. You know, there's obviously the 60th to come in November next year. So will that be Ncuti's first episode, or will there be something before? Do you know what I mean? That's what I want to know, is how is it actually going to play out? Because I'd hoped that Jodie would stay for the 60th, although, you know, I can appreciate that would have been somewhat tricky, because it would, you know, they'd have had to do another series and lead into it. You know, they wouldn't have had it off the air for a year before.
And she's also just about to give birth as well, I believe.
Well, yes, and I wonder if, you know, that was obviously part of her plan, and you know, the show finished for her when it did, and then if she was able to go and do that, whereas obviously she'd stayed on, it would have been another year or more, and you know, blah blah blah. But if I was Ncuti, and my first episode was going to be the 60th, let's just say he's a braver man than I am.
I don't know what you mean.
I think, well, I think it's a big thing. You know, it's another landmark to take on. But then, you know, that's not saying at all that he won't do a good job. But it's just, you know, you're doing an anniversary thing. You know, episode is quite a big deal. But then, you know, if it's the first Doctor's new episode, that's a big deal as well. And in some ways, you know, kicking it all off in the 60th. You know,
and you know what the thing is? It's almost like, you know, I know what you're saying. So it's like the fan expectation of the 60th is going to be fever pitch because of Ncuti's first episode. It's the 60th, and it's Russell's first script back in the show. So everything's going to be just mental by that time, and the publicity machine is going to be just churning out an absolute hurricane of stuff, and we're all going to get swept up in it, and it's going to be very difficult trying to pick out the pieces that we want to cling to. And it's just going to get more and more violent until we reach the eye of the storm, when the thing actually, when we can sit down and actually watch it for the first time. But as an actor, I would say you don't worry about those things. All you're concerned about is the words on the script and how you play them, and just doing what you do best, you know, and having the freedom to do what you do best, and the kind of the trust that the crew has in allowing you to kind of pull that, in allowing you to do that, or to kind of guide you to get that out of you. I think as we've talked to a lot of the, you know, we talk to people who make this show, and I'm thinking back to Pete Levy in particular, when he says, you know, it's just, you've got to give the actors the support they need, the framework for them to do the thing they do. And again, when it comes to that, we've got Russell T Davies kind of scripting this thing. You know, so the story and everything else is going to initially start with him, and I think there are very few people in the world who wouldn't trust him to write a cracking good story for the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who.
Yeah. And also something I was pleased to see was him saying that you know, that they still wanted the focus to be on Jodie.
I did like that,
and all of that, which I thought was really nice.
Last night, and it was wonderful. Because she is still the Doctor, and you know,
she is still the Doctor, and she will always be. Yeah. So I've got a few tweets in from listeners about today's news.
Just a few.
So let's.
I've seen a few pile in.
I'm not sure how many actually. So Orinoco McGee, who's I'm just going to read a handful. Who's at Deadly Night, says, only saw him a couple of days ago in Horrible Histories the movie. I didn't know he was in that.
Have you seen
his
Horrible Histories the movie?
No, I haven't. No, I've seen bits of it
bizarrely.
on TV. Yeah, I think my boy would probably like it. Orinoco says,
stories. Sorry, go on.
His role was only small, but he was awesome. Haven't seen Sex Education, so I have to give it a watch. I think he's going to be marvellous as the new Doctor, but I will miss Jodie. The Grand Serpent has tweeted in from his rock in space, and he's at Mind of Prentice. He says, I started Doctor Who with Jodie and gradually evolved into a Whovian. Jodie was my Doctor, but I think I'm going to like Ncuti, and here's my first Doctor announcement. So that, that's an exciting time to just discover a new Doctor like that. Gail Wright, who's at Mealy Garage, says, I'm absolutely thrilled. I don't know his work, but excited to see what he does with the role. Luke, who's at Barbara Yataxa, says, thrilled, first black lead Doctor, long overdue in my opinion. Excited to watch his previous work. Dom, who's at Domtor Who, says, wow, surprising in the best way possible as usual. Jodie's Doctor is a big part of the person I am today, but this announcement is wonderful because it's clear the future of Who is diverse, as it should be. Our friend Aidan, who's at Aidan CG01, says, it's a huge surprise. I must admit I'm not familiar with him, but I feel like he'll do a stellar job. Of course I'm going to miss Jodie, but I'm excited for what's to come. And then Cooper Hillier, who's at Cooper Hillier, says, I for one am very excited. I just know that Ncuti will be a fantastic Doctor. Although I've not seen a lot of their previous work, what I have seen is enough to know that RTD made the right choice. Kendrick, who's at DDP Kendrick, says, I'm ecstatic. I haven't seen anything he's in, but it's all very exciting. There's a theme here with people wanting to check out his work, isn't in there? This is always my favourite time to be a fan when a new Doctor is coming in. I have lots of faith, looking forward to Jodie's last and all the future seasons to come. Ethan, at Ethan_LMP, says, as for any new Doctor casting, I was slightly sceptical at first, but the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. I already know he's going to eat up all of the comedic moments based on his role in Sex Education, and I'm excited to see how the role stretches him as an actor. Philosophies podcast. That's the one. Podcast says brilliant news. Let Yonarchi lead, who is at Goddess YK13, says, very surprising but pretty exciting and gushing. Ncuti will surely make an amazing Doctor, like all the actors that came before in the show. And Buck O'Brien, I think that's someone, I don't recognise that name, that's someone new to us, at Highball2814. So hi Buck, I'm so happy. Ncuti is the best part of Sex Education. He's got emotional depth and range. Can't wait to see his version of the Doctor. Plus he's flame emoji. So I guess that means he's hot.
Actually, did you see that cheeky little emoji set that Ncuti and RTD stuck out apparently on Instagram?
Yes. Yeah, the two hearts and stuff. Yeah,
I'm gonna have a T-shirt with that on pretty soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, I imagine that's coming. Yeah, that will be available soon. Yeah, so yeah, it's a very exciting time. The future's bright. We've still got some great stuff to come, which we're looking forward to. It's going to be sad, but and I. Have very strong feelings and love for this era, and the future may not match that for me, but I will still be watching as a fan, and I will still enjoy it, and it's still going to be fantastic.
Yeah, man. So it's still Doctor Who. You've seen Doctor Who through many changes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Different actors come and go, and I'm the same. I mean, I really enjoyed Jodie's Doctor, and I still am, and I can't get enough of 13, and I genuinely wish there was so much more of it. So many more stories to tell. But we've got one more to go. We'll have a bunch more in the novels, and we'll have a bunch more in audio. I'm sure. I'm hopeful. We'll get some
hopefully big finish
before too long, provided I can afford it by then when I've paid off my mortgage. So, but it is. I agree with the I can't remember who it was there who said it's the best. Was it our new guy Buck? It's the best time to be a fan in a way because. Oh no, it wasn't Buck, was it? I might have to cut that bit. Whoever it was who said this is an exciting time to be a fan when you get a new actor suddenly announced in the role. Because I remember again going back years ago in the 80s. I became a fan with Peter Davison. He was the first Doctor that I was around do an announcement for, if that makes sense, right? Because Tom Baker had been a Doctor for like forever and was always the Doctor. And when Peter Davison was announced, I was, I don't know, 9 years old or something, and it was really exciting, you know, and you just look forward so much more to the new Doctor stories, and because you know things are going to be fresh, you know they're going to be different, you know that we've got a whole bunch more stories that you've never seen before. You know, as a Doctor Who fan, we've watched all these stories countless times, but now we've got a confirmation of new ones. And every time somebody new comes into the role, it's fresh and it's exciting, and it's always a good time to be a fan. That's my take on it. Anyway, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So it will. No, I am. You know, I could gush, but I've not. But it will keep us busy in the podcast for a long time to come, which is good.
And crikey, we're going to have to come up with something in the interim period, aren't we?
Yeah. If you've got any ideas that you want for us,
so we're going to have the centenary, and then pretty much a whole year of scratching around for some kind of content.
Wow, do you know what? There's so much, isn't there?
Loads, loads.
You know, we won't be short on it at all.
We got some pretty good gems banked up for the next few weeks.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we're quite busy.
Me.
Yeah.
Oh, we do.
So, if people are listening to this on Sunday when this has come out, or Monday, our planned episode, which is Meet the Whovians 3, will come out on Monday, which is the 9th of May, and then next week on Sunday we'll have our Flatline episode where we rewatch Flatline, 12th Doctor episode, and then we're going to tackle Dragonfire, aren't we?
And then we got Matt Smith coming up.
Yes, yeah. Well, how's
Whichever
that poll
one's
doing?
going to win our poll. Oh, actually, is that poll done?
We're running a poll at the moment.
We did run a poll. It is looking like, the 11th hour has just overtaken Time of Angels / Flesh and Stone.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, 2 days left on it. Yeah,
left. Yes.
11th hour, very close again. All of these polls are really close,
Very
aren't
close.
they?
Well, the Doctor's
Very
wife
close
is.
indeed.
Oh, and the Snowman actually is way behind.
Yeah, 20%. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we get on that. So yeah, we've got lots of good stuff coming up. So keep with us.
More special guests.
More guests to come, and we're working on some others at the moment as well. So stick with us. Thanks for listening.
Stick with us. Thanks for listening.